IUPUI student athletes.
Ryan Aber from the Oklahoman. Rachel, for you, you're the only player who's played against OU and played against them in the NCAA tournament. What do you remember from that game, that experience? I know you didn't play a ton there, but what was that like for you, and what have you told the rest of your team about playing in the NCAA tournament?
Yeah, obviously it was my freshman year, so I didn't get like a ton of minutes, but just like the experience to be out on the court in the NCAA tournament, like even if it's just for a little bit, I feel like is very valuable. And to have played Oklahoma was a good experience. The team looks way different now, so I mean, obviously it's very different, but yeah, I've just tried to tell our team like it's just like any other game, so you just have to have fun and go out there.
Cliff Brunn, Associated Press. If any of you could just say, what does it mean to be the first team to get this far in your school?
I just think we all feel like, I mean, we're all so excited to be here. You know, in the 2020 season, we actually didn't get to play in the NCAA tournament. So, I mean, this is just huge for us and just for the standpoint of putting our program just like on the map.
Destiny or Rachel, would both of you like to answer that question as well?
I would just pick off of what Macy said. We're excited to be here. We know that we deserve to be here just because of how we was supposed to come into that, whatever year that was supposed to come, and we just wasn't able to come because of COVID. To just be able to be here and know that we have a team that can actually, you know, win games in this tournament is like exciting and a good experience for us.
Yeah, adding to that, like, it's really exciting knowing that, like, we made school history. Obviously, we did 2 years ago as well, but we never actually were able to play in it, so it didn't quite feel like we accomplished our goal. So now that we're in the tournament, we're not just coming to, be like, oh, we made it. We actually know we have a team that hopefully can do some good things.
Tyler DeLuca, Game Day U Hoops. You guys have known that Oklahoma is going to be your opponent for about a week now. So what kind of game are you guys expecting, and for anybody, what kind of game are you expecting, and what do you feel like is going to be the key for you guys to pull off the upset?
I would say just because we've had so much time to prepare and stuff like that, we know that they're a fast team. Our transition defense is going to be super, super important, and I feel like if we do what we're supposed to do, of course, you know, anybody can win a game.
And just to go off of that, just stopping their main two scorers. I think it's 25 and 30, just being able to stop both of them and just running 30 off the, three-point line.
Yeah, I think a key, as Destiny already mentioned, they play really fast, so we can't let them dictate the pace of the game. And then also just, like, going off of, like, not being nervous, just going out there and setting the tone early and showing them, like, it's not just going to be, like, an easy pushover win.
And then, Macy, specifically for you, OU has very clearly had struggles down low in the post, guarding size. Ayoka Lee scored 61, made history. What do you feel like what is the impact that you can have on this game down low in the post, and how do you feel like you go about doing that?
I just feel like just with that information, I mean, I will come into the game just seeing how they'll play me in the beginning, and I mean, if they don't double team me or anything like that, I mean, I'll be able to take my time and do what I am capable of doing.
On the right side.
All of y'all just alluded to it a little bit ago, but 2020, what was it like going from the high of winning the tournament and clinching the berth to, when it was announced that the tournament was canceled? And what do you remember most about that? And how big is it just to get a chance to be here again after what happened 2 years ago?
I would say you have to just be mentally strong in moments like that. Like, it was a whole year of so many things that you just couldn't control. Like, you couldn't just be focused on, like, the negative. You just got to prepare for what's next. You knew there was, like, real life things going on, So just to be able to prepare for this moment now is because of what happened then. We was motivated. We fell short the year before. But just to be here now it's an exciting feeling.
We'll continue on the right side in the second row.
Yeah, Cliff Brunn, Associated Press. You guys had a big win at Iowa in December. probably a similar setting to this. How significant is that in terms of your confidence coming into this? I know it's been a while, but it's still big name team, similar setting.
I would say confidence isn't like something our team's ever lacked. Like not in like an arrogant way or anything, but we all like know what we're capable of and like believe in each other and like we're just not afraid to play anybody. Even though like some teams, obviously Iowa had like two of the leading scorers in the country, so we're like, well, we just view it as, oh, that's a good challenge. Like it'll just make us better. And then we ended up by the end of the game, we're like, oh, we actually won that.
I would also say too, like, yeah, we beat Iowa this year. We fell a little short to Michigan, but you know, our coach always schedules us big games, and you know, if we lose the game, we're never gonna lose by a lot. It's always like 2, 3, or something points. So like, we're prepared for this moment because of the games that he scheduled. You know, not this year, maybe last year, or the year before. So we're used to big teams. We're used to this moment.
Any additional questions? That concludes IUPUI's player availability. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
A recording of this Statement before answering questions.
Yeah, we're excited to be here. Obviously, we have a really good opponent in Oklahoma, and they'll be playing on their home floor, and we know it'll be a great challenge, but our kids are fired up and excited about the opportunity.
We'll go far right for the first question.
Yeah, Cliff Brunn, Associated Press. You know, I'm looking at your schedule here. You had a couple of forfeits, a couple of cancellations, some ups, some downs. You know, big win there against Iowa. So just kind of some inconsistencies, rough road of it early, but it settled down, and you've won pretty much all your games since the start of the new year. What changed? What helped settle you guys down?
Yeah, I mean, so we start the season at Michigan, top 10 team. We take them to overtime without our starting power forward. And then our league actually started conference play like early November. And we got shut down for COVID. Our league, unfortunately, gave us forfeits. We went through non-conference. We finished non-conference with a big win at Iowa. They were ranked, and they had their whole team. It was a really good win for us. And then we came back from conference play, or into conference play after Christmas, and they changed the rule about forfeits versus no contests, except we had to keep our forfeits. And so the ironic part for our team was we were picked to win the league. We knew we had a talented team, but that kind of hung over our heads, all year long. And, it really caused our players to have to focus in game to game. There was no room for error, in trying to get the 1 seed in our tournament. And so they did a great job of kind of focusing. I think we won 14 straight and really started to play some of our best basketball at the end of the year.
Any additional questions? We'll go first row to the right.
Ryan Aber from the Oklahoman. You look at the teams in this tournament, and there's 3 teams that haven't played for almost 2 weeks, and the team that you're facing tomorrow played a game last Saturday. How do you is that an advantage, disadvantage? Obviously, you had time to work on things internally for yourself that maybe Oklahoma didn't, but as far as keeping the rhythm, how do you feel like that lines out for this week?
We'll find out. I really don't know. For us, this is our first time being in the position of winning it and then, being able to play in the tournament. We've tried to break it up and keep our players both fresh, but at the same time, trying to stay sharp in our practice, plans. More interesting part to me is just the fact that it's going to be a 9 o'clock start. We got a lot of kids in my squad that are asleep by 9 or 10 o'clock, so it'll be an interesting deal to see how we do in that regard. But this time of the year, you're just excited to be able to play, and our kids are excited about the challenge.
Just a quick follow-up to that. You mentioned the start for y'all. It's like a 10 o'clock start. Or I guess I can't. Are y'all Central or
Eastern? Yeah,
Eastern. Okay. Can never remember that about Indianapolis. But how do you get your team ready for that tomorrow, as far as the schedule, the pace of things, to have them ready to perform their best at a late night tip?
Yeah, we've been trying to break things up a little bit. We kind of had a walk through practice this morning before what we're doing this afternoon. At the end of the day, I think the bigger challenge is you've got the men's games and the women's games going on. We're the last game to kind of tip off, so there's that excitement. But at the end of the day, you just don't want to get away from what you do as a team that got you here. Even though we're playing a really talented basketball team, we have to be us. And hopefully, if we are us, that'll be good enough.
We'll go to the left, second row.
Coach, obviously, Macy Williams is an incredible talent, AP All-American honoree, and Oklahoma has struggled against bigs this season. Ayoka Lee put up 61 against the Sooners. How do you feel like you can best exploit the difference in size and the talent that you have down low in the post?
Well, the way that we run our offense, we really don't go to any game saying, hey, we're gonna focus just on taking advantage of the post. If you watch how Macy plays, she's incredibly efficient. So, it's not like she's been putting up 40-point games. What we did do, and this was kind of intentional in recruiting, all 4 players on the perimeter can shoot. And so what's made it challenging for the opponent is, do you double or do you play her one-on-one? And if you play her one-on-one, she is very good with her back to the basket post move. She can finish over both shoulders. I think it's probably one of the more unique players in the country. But the other part that makes her special is her passing ability. And because we have good shooters on the perimeter, I think we led the Horizon League in three-point shooting. It provides us a nice balance. So we just kind of really go with what the defense kind of gives up and we're willing to take.
We'll go on the right, first row.
Yeah, you mentioned the three-point shooting there. Obviously, that's a big part of Oklahoma's game too, with Taylor Robertson and others. Y'all have been really good defending the three. What do you feel like has been behind the success that y'all have had, and how much different is what Oklahoma does in that regard than some of the other teams you played?
Yeah, I mean, they do two things really well. One is Roberson reminds me so much of Klay Thompson, doesn't need a lot of dribbles, but is tall and has such a high release. You can be there, and it doesn't matter sometimes. So that in itself, then she spaces the floor, because you got to have a defender out on her. And then the other thing, and Jenny does a great job with their pace. They're used to playing at that pace. They're used to those games, 80s, 90s, 100 points a game. Those are the two big challenges. Now, for us, from a defensive standpoint, we're not very gimmicky in what we do. We teach a certain way and kind of how we get through screens, and I think that consistency over time allows us to get out and guard the perimeter, challenge shots. But it'll be a challenge. I mean, Roberson can really shoot it, and hopefully we can continue to defend the way we have all season.
Any additional questions for Coach? Thank you. That concludes IUPUI's availability.
Thanks.